Hello students, in this video you are going to study about the second chapter of geography, and this chapter first part is already recorded. Then now we are going to study the second part of this chapter, and the name of the chapter is the Earth's major landform. And let's look what are the learning objectives of this part. The learning objectives are plateaus, types of plateaus, importance of plateaus, plains, types of plain, importance of plain, and landforms and people. The first one is the definition of plateau and types of plateaus. Look at that. What is the definition? A plateau is a large area of fairly level land rising much above the surrounding areas. I repeat, a plateau is a large area of fairly level land rising much above the surrounding areas. A plateau may be higher than a mountain, but its almost flat upper surface does not have a peak. That is the difference between that. A plateau may be higher than a mountain, but its almost flat upper surface does not have a peak. Like mountains, some plateaus are old while others are comparatively new. Old plateaus are lower and stretch over greater areas. And the examples are the Deccan Plateau of India and Plateau of India, and one is in Brazil and in Australia and in Africa. These are the different kinds of plateaus we can see in different parts of the world. The plateau of Tibet to the north of the Himalayas is the highest plateau in the world. The plateau of Tibet of the north of the Himalayas is the highest plateau in the world. And look at that. What are the types of plateaus? Depending on how they are formed, plateaus are divided tectonic or volcanic. And what is the meaning of tectonic? And what is the meaning of volcanic? A tectonic plateau is formed when a part of the Earth's surface is pushed up but not wrinkled. Earth's surface is pushed up, but that is not wrinkled. That is a tectonic plateau. And this way the tectonic plateaus form. The plateau of Tibet is an example of tectonic plateau. Sometimes we know that what is the meaning of that volcano, and this next plateau is related with the volcanoes. Sometimes molten material from below the Earth's surface comes out through the openings, and this molten material spreads out over the surface of Earth, and gradually that is going to be cool and gardens. So this kind of landform is called the volcanic plateau. That means the volcanic plateaus are rising from the volcano. And the example of that volcanic plateau is Deccan Plateau. That is in India. That is an example of a volcanic plateau. And many are there. And this is one of the example. And depending on where they are formed, plateaus may be again divided into intermontane, piedmont, or continental. An intermontane plateau is surrounded by mountains. The plateau of Tibet is an example of that intermontane plateau. A piedmont plateau is formed at the foot of mountains. The piedmont plateau of the USA is an example of a piedmont plateau. And next one is continental plateau. A continental plateau is located away from mountains. An example, the plateau of Western Australia. A plateau that is cut into sections also. Some of the plateaus are cutting into different sections. And by the valleys. Valleys are cutting these plateaus of rivers, and between that rivers also flowing. It is called the dissected plateau. The meaning of dissected, we know that cutting. No, so here a plateau that is cut into sections by the valleys of rivers flowing through. It is called a dissected plateau. So these are the main kinds of plateaus. Mainly that is tectonic or volcanic plateau. We know that is formed from volcanoes, and another one is intermontane, and intermontane plateau that is surrounded by mountains. Next is Piedmont. Piedmont means that is a continental plateau located away from the mountains. Last one is continent. Last one is a dissected plateau. That is a dissected. That means cut into sections by the valleys of rivers flowing through. So these are the different types of plateaus. Next topic is importance of plateaus. What are the importance of plateaus? Before that, please look at the figure is given here. Figure 2.7 is showing a plateau is there. The old plateaus are rich in useful minerals. And look at that, what are the useful minerals are present in these plateaus, or especially in old plateaus, such as iron, ore and copper. Iron ore and copper are the important minerals present in old plateaus. And this iron ore, that means this minerals is we need to take these minerals from the plateaus, that mining is there. Mining process is needed for that. So this supports mining. The rivers flowing down the slopes providing water, and from that water producing electricity. That kind of electricity is known as hydroelectricity. So importance of plateaus, first important, that is rich in minerals, and that is helping for or supporting mining. And next one, rivers are flowing, and this rivers providing water, and that water is helping to produce hydroelectricity. People where economic activities can be carried out. So these are the main importance of plateaus. Next is this part is over now. Next we are going to the next topic of this chapter. Before that, some figures also mentioned here. First figure 2.8 is showing major plateaus areas of the world. Then next is plains. The definition of plain. First is the definition of plain. Flat surfaces with very gentle slopes are called plains. Flat surfaces with very gentle slopes are called plains. Then types of plains. Different types of plains are here, and types of plain are found at various places. We can see plains in various places like the bottoms of mountain valleys, the tops of plateaus, the buds of large dry lakes, etc. Coastal plains are found along the margins of seas and oceans. And floodplains are found along the banks of rivers. So these are the two coastal plains and floodplains, and look at that. What are the difference of that? Coastal plains are found along the margins of seas and oceans, and floodplains are found along the banks of rivers. Rivers, glaciers and winds break off and carry away pieces of rock from the surface of landforms. And the surface of landforms is filled with the rock, soil, and different kinds of things. So with the help of river water and with the help of glaciers and with the help of winds, and this rocks, pieces of rocks is break, the rocks are breaks off, and this breaks off pieces, rocks are carrying into different places with the different kinds, with the help of river water, with the help of wind, and like that. Thus mountain and plateaus are gradually lowered. So the height of mountains and plateaus gradually that will become low, and red surface also formed, red and smoothened surface that will come nearly the level of plains. These are called penny plains. That kind of plains are called penny plains. Then many plains are river basins. A river basin is the land over which a river and its tributaries flow. Look at that. Many plains are river basin. And what is the meaning of river basin? A river basin is the land over which a river and river's tributaries and its tributaries flow. A tributary is a river flowing into a larger river. And rivers wash away materials, different materials, that means sand, silt, and like that. Rivers wash away materials from the mountains and plateaus down which they flow. So river water will carry this all the materials to the water, or that will reach into the plains. Then when the rivers reach gentler slopes, finally that river water reach into the gentler slopes, then now the movement is going to slow down. And slow down means that depositing, start to deposit the thing, the material. And the deposited materials are sand, silt, and clay. These together called alluvium. This the deposited material comprising sand, silt, and clay, and this is called alluvium. Thus the plain formed by rivers are called. So this way the plain is forming by rivers. So that kind of plains are called alluvial plains. An example of alluvial plains in India, Gangetic Plain, the Yangtze Basin of China, the Nile Basin of Egypt. These are the examples of alluvial plains. The deposition of material on the bed is reduces the depth of a river in the plains. That means the materials are depositing on the river, then that will reduce the depth of a river. So when there is a sudden increase in the volume of water, for example, during the rainy season, the water spills over the banks and that will cause floods. The relatively flat region formed by the alluvium deposited by the river over many years is known as the floodplain of the river. So these are called floodplain because of this is formed with the process of flood after many years, river over many years. That means alluvium is deposited by the river over many years and the floodplain of the river is forming there. As the river moves slowly in the plains, and normally the river moves slowly in the plains, and its course forms broad and S-shaped bends. And this broad and S-shaped bends are called meanders. The water of the river gets distributed into several small channels. And these small channels of water of river is called distributaries. And the distributaries are again dividing. The distributaries are redivided into smaller branches till the river finally enters the sea. The region at a river's mouth comprising a network of distributaries. That means net number of distributaries together to form delta. and it is usually triangular in shape. Deltas are usually triangular in shape. And the examples of delta, that means the largest delta in the world is in our country. That is the Ganga Brahmaputra delta. So this is an example of a largest delta in the world. And before that, some figures is also here. Figure 2.9 is showing major river basins of the world. Amazon Basin, Paraguay Panama Basin, Mississippi Basin, Mississippi Missouri Basin, Congo Basin, like that many, Indus Ganga Brahmaputra Basin. So these are the major river basins of the world. And a reverse codes is also showing here in figure 2.10. Then in that figure is already showing delta. That means distributaries together to form delta. Then the water, that means the water flow is started from the mountain and that is reach into the floodplain. Before that, tributaries are forming and the floodplain is forming after. Then meander also there. Then distributaries and delta. These all the features are showing in this figure. Now, next topic is importance of plains. Now we are going to discuss about the alluvial plains. You already know that what is the meaning of alluvial plains, and alluvial plains are very important, that are ideal for the cultivation of different kinds of crops. Alluvial plains are generally very fertile because of the presence of level land, fertile soil and water in the alluvial plains, and this together to form or made them ideal for growing crops. That means alluvial plain, this is a water present there, fertile soil is present and water is present, and so these are the main features that this become an ideal for growing crops. Hence, people have settled in these plains since ancient time. From olden days, the people are settled in these plains, in alluvial plains, because that is helping for agriculture. The soil is fertile, soil is helping for agriculture. And trade is also flourished in such settlements because roads could be built easily. In these plains, we can easily build flat land. That means this is a flat land and easily we can build roads. So trade is also flourished there. And in water is also there, river water and like that, and boats could ply easily along the gently flowing rivers. The rivers are always gently flowing and so boats could also ply easily. Even today, the plains are the most densely populated regions of the world. Next is landforms and people. Our lives are in many ways shaped by the landforms around us. Wherever we are living, according to that, our lives are shaped. No? Our life and life activities, that means landforms often determine what kind of houses we build, where we can live. According to that, we are building our houses, how we travel, what we eat, what we wear, and what jobs we do. These all the things are related with our landforms where we are living. Let us see, for example, how life in mountains differ from life in plains. So first one is life in mountain. On mountain, it is usually cold. We know that in mountain regions, normally that's a cold climate. Even in summer also, it is usually cold. Even in summer, and it is hard to grow crops. Crops are often grow on terraces. Terraces cut into the slopes. terraces cut into slopes. In that region, crops are growing in mountain region. For example, what are the crops are growing in mountain region? Look at that. Rice, maize, buckwheat, millets, potatoes, peas, beans, and teas are the some of the examples of some crops grows in mountain. Some mountain slopes have orchards for growing fruits, such as what are the fruits are growing there? Apples, pears, and plums. And slopes also there. These slopes are, that means we know that crops are often grown in terraces cut in the slopes. And the slopes of Mount Etna. And this slopes of Mount Etna is a good example for growing grapes. Then what are the animals are living there, or what are the animals the people are rearing in mountain region? Sheep and goats are. And sheep and goats are reared for meat and wool. And goats give milk also. And another one animal is there, yak. Yaks are reared in the Himalayas. And yaks are reared for milk, meat, and wool. Yaks also carry loads and help in the farm works. The next one is llamas. Llamas are reared in the ants for meat and wool. Llamas we can see in ants, Mount ants, and that is rearing for meat and wool. Next is alpacas. Alpacas is giving good quality of wool. So these are the animals are rearing in mountain regions. Sheep, goats, yaks, llamas, alpacas, etc. Next is about the houses of that mountain. The people, how the way the people are building their houses in mountains. The houses in mountains usually have sloping roofs. And this sloping, we know that we are building our house, we are building the houses with the flat roofs. But in case of mountain region, the people are making their houses with the sloping roofs. Because of this sloping roofs help that the rainwater and snow can slide easily off them. Then many houses are made of locally available things. And most of the houses are built with a wood and stone. That means these wood and stones are locally available things. So many houses are made of locally available things like wood and stone. It is difficult to travel and to transport goods. In mountain regions, we know that roads are not properly built and roads are hard to build. So this is difficult to travel from one place to another and transport goods from one place to another. Most of the roads are narrow and steep and windy. And most of the roads are narrow and steep and windy. So this traveling from one place to another and transport of good is also very difficult. Next is the towns and cities, and we are going to discuss about the towns and cities of mountains. That is generally not very large. That's a small cities and towns we can see in mountain regions. And most of the people are farmers. But some of them are working in power plants and like that. And power plants means, what is the specialty of power plant? Power plants that is generating hydroelectricity. So most of them are farmers and some of them are working in power plants, that especially in hydroelectricity power plants, generating power plants. And there are not many factories. Few factories are only there. And in mountains that are rich in minerals, and we need to take the minerals from the earth, inside of the earth. So that process is known as mining. So the people can work in mines, and that place is known as mines. That means in mountains that are rich in minerals, and people can work in mines. And many tourists visit the mountains. So mountain people can earn a living by running hotels, because of many people are coming to visit that the beauty of mountains and to see the beauty of mountains. So the tourists are coming to the mountain regions, and the people who are living, they are running hotels, shops and restaurants, and they will get some money from them. And by arranging transport of tourists for adventure activities, and next is by selling handicrafts. They are making handicrafts items and selling. These are the earning of the people who are living in mountain regions. Next is life in plains. Now we are discussing about the comparative study of life in mountains and life in plains. The second one is life in plains, and look at that. What are the features are here? On plains, life is easier than on mountains. Comparing with mountains, in plain, life is very easier. It is not usually as cold like that in mountains. The climate is not all the time cold, and there is a level of land also proper way that is helping for growing crops, and for it is helping for building houses and roads, because the level of the land is the level of the land is good in plains. And look at that, what kind of crops are there? Many kinds of crops, including most of our food crops, like that maize, rice, wheat, and many things are grown on them. And many kinds of animals also rearing, like cattle, sheep, and goats also rear in plains. Road and railways can be built very easily because of level land. Because on level land, and it is easy to travel from one place to another, and that is easy to transport goods from one place to another. And rivers are usually flow very gently in the plains, so boats can ply on them. And there are many factories and offices and shops, so people can find a variety of jobs in plains. Most of the people live on plains, so there are many villages, towns and cities, because number of population, that means most of the people are living on plains. So there are many villages, towns and cities. There are many villages, town and cities, so there are different kinds of houses also there in all the places. In large towns we can see different, that means we can see that multi-story buildings and like that. And large towns and cities where many people are living in relatively small area. And most of the people are and most of the people in villages are farmers, while people in towns and cities work in factories, offices, shops and so on. Most of the people in villages are farmers, while people in towns and cities are working in factories, offices, shops and so on. These are the speciality of life in plains. So dear students, these are the topics included in the second part of this video. So I'm going to winding up this session. Thank you.